Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio on a Tuesday morning. Did you have a good Valentine's Day?
It was manageable, thank you.
I thought you were going to say magical there for a second.
At my age, buddy, there's nothing magical.
There ain't no more magic left. Well, hopefully we can get some magic going this morning. Hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs can get some magic going in the upcoming season, which we're already working towards. You like how that works?
I do.
Me too.
And there's a lot for it, too.
There absolutely is. Chiefs are once again favored to at least play in the championship game next season.
They are indeed. They are the top team, favored to be in the Super Bowl at odds of 13-2, which is absolutely overwhelming. And interestingly enough, now this is an all-encompassing rating system. It includes both the AFC and the NFC. The Buffalo Bills are second at 7-1. That's hardly a surprise. Los Angeles Rams, the Super Bowl champs, are 10-1 to make it back to the Super Bowl, and the Cincinnati Bengals are 12-1. Rather interesting because a lot of folks say, hey, Cincinnati got there on a magic carpet, it won't happen again. Well, the odds makers seem to think that there's a pretty good chance that it will. All right, you go through the rest of the two lowest odds. Who do you think they'd be? Oh, the one out of New York City is pretty obvious.
Giants or Jets. Jets. Okay, so the Jets and then the Lions.
Houston Texans.
Texans, really?
They are both 200-1
oh my
to
God.
get the Super Bowl. Now, here's the interesting fact. When those lines were set, a bettor in New York City, unidentified, of course, you can't say who they are, put $5,000 on the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl. Now, it's highly, highly unlikely. Nothing's impossible, but highly unlikely. If that person wins the Super Bowl, $1 million payoff. $5,000 to win $1 million. All right, 200-1 odds.
I can think of a better way to take $5,000, put it in a bag, put some gasoline on it, and light it on fire. To be honest with you,
that's what you have just done.
So I don't know. Go buy some fireworks for the 4th. Spend $5,000 on some fireworks and just let it all go up in the sky, man.
You could buy that for a town,
dude. Hell, man. Actually, I don't know if you bought fireworks recently, but there's some families that probably spend about $5,000 on fireworks. Oh, hell yeah. Big time, getting the pallets out, drilling them in. Man, that's how we do in the Ozarks, Ned. So college baseball finally underway in the Ozarks, which is a good thing, especially since the big dogs can't seem to get together. Who are the winners right now?
Really a good thing for Drury. They got off to a very slow start last year. They were 0 for maybe 8 or 9 or 10, whatever it was, before they ever really got into a winning frame. This year, they play 4 games, back-to-back doubleheaders, and win all 4 of them. This is pretty doggone good. Beat Fort Hays State over the weekend, 10-4, 13-0, 11-3, and 19-7. Drury had some offense going. We saw that offense when they played the Bears back in September. They're pretty good. The Bears won the game, but had to win it on a base hit in the top of the 8th inning. So, indeed, you have a pretty good baseball team that Scott Nasby's putting together. Now, next play this weekend, they play Winona State out of Minnesota, and that will be down at the ballpark, the U.S. ballpark in Ozark. This is a pretty good team. They're getting together. The Bears open up with Central Arkansas in Conway, open up on Friday. All Division I teams can open on February 18th. D2 and D3 can open earlier, obviously. Drury has. But the D1 opens on the 18th, and the Bears will open then, play Central Arkansas, 3-game series in Conway, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think it's going to be a pretty good Bears team.
Yeah, usually last year wasn't so good, but I think they've got some good talent on there, so hopefully we can see some great baseball at Missouri State this year. Also when baseball starts to start, that also means basketball is starting to come to an end, and at least for the high school basketball teams, we got postseason tournaments coming up.
They do indeed. The smaller schools, there's 6 classes in Missouri. Number 6 is very new. Classes 1, 2, and 3 begin their district play. This is the first round, 1 loss and you're gone. 1, 2, and 3 begin this Saturday and continue right on through the state championships, which for classes 1, 2, and 3 is March 11th and 12th. And as many of you, I hope, know, the state championships are here at the JQH Arena. Now, for the larger schools, 4, 5, and 6, Then the districts begin next Saturday. That's March the 26th, and the finals for the large schools are 4 days. March the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. And why is that? Because Class 6 in Missouri has so few schools, just a small number of them. So they begin their semifinals and finals on Wednesday and Thursday, March the 17th, and their championships the 18th. And then the 4 and 5 schools continue right on through. It's pretty doggone good. Should be a lot of fun. All at the JQH Arena. That's where the state championships are again this year and again next year. And we really need to have them down here because it's a big, big revenue draw and a big deal.
And it's a good thing we've got hotels on every corner because that makes it a little bit easier when bid time comes around. It's that time of the season for the Missouri State Bears where we're getting closer and closer and closer to the Missouri Valley Tournament. And then, of course, if they should win, that'd be great to get into the even bigger tournament in March. But they still have to take care of business tonight. Who are they facing?
They play Indiana State tonight, and this is the next to last home game that the Bears have. That's hard to believe that that's where we are in the season. The penultimate is the word, penultimate home game for Missouri State. Indiana State is not as good as the Bears. That's an unqualified statement, but the Sycamores beat the Bears a couple of weeks ago over in Terre Haute in a big upset, 76-72. That surprised everybody because the Bears were coming off a big win of their own at Loyola. And they go over to Terre Haute and lose the game. Well, it's payback time tonight. In addition, Missouri State is going for its 20th win of the year tonight overall, and their 11th in the Missouri Valley Conference. Bears still have a chance to win this conference regular season championship outright and get the number 1 seed. Need a few breaks to do that, and they certainly do need to win. And tonight, well, it'll be a pretty good challenge. Indiana State's not all that bad. They're, I don't think, as good as the Bears, especially if Missouri State is shooting very well, which they did the other day against Valparaiso. But it'll be a good, solid test. Begins at 7 o'clock, JQH Arena, and it's the next to last home game for the Bears. That is hard to believe.
But you know what? Like I said last hour, man, when baseball starts to fire off its cylinders, at least locally, you know that basketball is starting to come to that point where we're going to see who the champions are, which it's crazy, but you know what? I'm right there with you, man. Time right now for me, it's like I open my eyes, it's Tuesday, I close them and wake them up, and then guess what? It's the weekend. So it just goes by so freaking fast. Speaking of which, with the bigger college teams in the nation, where are we at ranking-wise?
The Bears, in fact, nobody from the Missouri Valley Conference in the men's competition is included in the top 25. Interestingly enough, though, a future Bears team or a future Valley team is number 18, and that's Murray State. They're having a great year. Murray State comes over to the Missouri Valley Conference next year in basketball. And in ladies play, there are no Mo Valley teams, and it's, other than Missouri State and maybe Drake on occasion. It's pretty rare to have a Missouri Valley Conference team nationally ranked. The 2 top teams in America, and again, the ratings are only for publicity purposes and for discussion purposes like us idiots on the radio and so forth and so on. Gonzaga is the number 1 men's team, and South Carolina, Dawn Staley's South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, are number 1 among the ladies. They are very, very good. And Gonzaga is very good. That's not to say they can go through the tournament undefeated, but both are pretty good basketball teams.
A little bit over a month away from the start of the madness. If you had to pick your bracket right now, who would you have winning that?
Winning the whole thing?
Yeah.
You have Gonzaga, you have Kansas, you have Kentucky, you have some dark horse out there
so
waiting.
Your 4.
If I had one and had to circle them, it's Kentucky.
You think so?
They're young, but Calipari has a way of putting these teams together. That's who I would pencil in. They're playing very well right now. But again, Mike, when you get down to a tournament like the NCAA, the big dance, anything can happen.
That's why it's called madness.
And it often does happen.
Yes, sir, it does. Well, I'll ask you again once we get closer. Last but not least, the Winter Olympics, speaking of going by, it's just, flown by, and not a lot of talk about it other than the fact that we talk about it in the morning. And it was kind of a slow start for Team USA, but they're starting to creep up as far as the medal count is concerned.
You kind of thought that they might in the second half because these are sports that are a little bit more to our liking in the country. USA has 17 overall medals. 7 of them are gold. 6 silver, and 4 bronze. And there's still 2 more gold medals hopefully to be attained in hockey, women's hockey, and men's hockey. The women playing for the gold a little bit later on today. They play Canada for the second time around. Canada's had a hex over the women's team, but in the preliminary round, the USA won it 4-1. A little bit misleading because they put away some, I don't want to say cheap goals. There is no such thing, but these were shorthanded goals and things like that late in the game. But the Canadian team is pretty good, and they'll have blood in their eye. And for the men, it's probably going to be the USA and Canada again, but we'll see what happens.
God, man, that's going to be crazy awesome. Well, we'll see. But, hey, you know what? At least we're in the top 3 as far as, as the medal count is concerned, Ned. You have a great day getting your gold medal today, man.